Today I'm speaking with Omar from Lima. Omar, you were born in Damascus, Syria, 1992, to a family with 3 brothers and 1 sister. You studied civil engineering in Damascus, but when the revolution in Syria began, you faced a choice: serve in the army or leave the country. You left everything behind and moved to Egypt, where you stayed for 3.5 years. During that time, you met a woman from Peru that became your girlfriend. Seeking stability, you later moved to Turkey, but without residency options, you returned briefly to Lebanon to visit your family and friends. At the age of 24, you made the decision to move to Lima, Peru, both for a fresh start and to be with your girlfriend. In 2019, you got married. Today, you work in translation and interpretation for US clients, and you hold both Syrian and Peruvian passports. Now we talk about your journey, the challenges of starting over in different countries, and how you see life today after everything you have experienced. Welcome, Omar.
Thank you, Lena.
How does it sound to hear your own biography like that?
It's kind of weird hearing it from a third party. Yeah, I never thought about it like in this way.
So it's a bit new to hear it like that.
But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff, interesting steps, let's say.
And if you hear the whole biography, what is it? How does it make you feel?
I don't know, maybe adventure. It was kind of an adventure, like everybody here, even until now, like they say, like, wow, you're Syrian, you came to Peru. Why? How? That's really far away. It was an adventure, and it worked out.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I already have so many questions about your biography. First of all, how was it to grow up in Damascus in Syria?
It was really pretty. It's like Damascus is one of my favorite cities. It's my city after all. It's really pretty. It's really calm. It has everything basically for us.
And how was it to go there to school?
Cooling system, it's not the best, especially during the dictator government and all this. We had a really good education, but like school wise, the buildings, the structure, all this, it was really bad. Like until now, when I see school, I went to my wife's school. It was like, wow, you study here. That's something really great. For us, it wasn't like this at all.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But overall, I think it's good time.
It's really special. I mean, Syria, it's very big in the news, of course, all around the world. We know what's happening there. I think it's a very beautiful moment for me to talk to you and to have the opportunity
Yes.
to talk to you about this. Besides the revolution, did you ever envision to leave Syria, or you would have stayed and just live your normal life over there?
Actually, like the revolution came to us really late because uh, the last president was Bashar al-Assad. Before that, it was his father. They also did a lot of bad thing, a lot of mascara. In 1980, there was a really bad mascara in Hama, in one of the biggest cities. But there was no social media. There was no way so we can know that. People didn't know what's happening at this time. During all this, also I think it's beginning of 2000. I'm not sure about the date. The Kurds in the northeast also started something kind of like a revolution. Also was faced with really brutality from the police and the military, but also it was kind of starting with the social media, so we didn't have the news like exactly. For us, it was the only way to see the news was through the official TV channel. So for us, the revolution came a little bit late, but we finally won. We managed to remove him finally. We have
Yeah.
now new government and new president, and everything seems to be working really good until now.
That's really, really so calming and relieving to hear that. I'm still curious about your upbringing. So when you said you had just television and no new social media, how was it? Did you experience any violence, any brutality over there? Was it something you saw in front of your doors, or how did you actually realize what's happening in the country? Was there anything you were really physically involved in?
Yes, of course. The revolution started at like all Syria. even in Damascus. And when it started, I was in the university. Even a lot of time, it started in the university. Like people start to make like a decoy sound, so the police would go to the one place, and then the students start shouting in the middle of the university because it was really fast. It has to be like a hit and run, basically,
Hmm.
because the moment there was no respect for the university, of course. The police will go inside the university and start hitting people or capturing them. So we had to do something like this. It's kind of like hit and run, like just do something fast, spread some flyer, start greeting a little bit, and then just everybody go to his way. Also on the street, like we basically started from the mosques. It's not for a religious, mainly religious reason. It has, of course, a religious background to go out through from the mosque, but it was the like joining point. It was especially on Friday. We have the midday prayer. We have to go to the mosque. So there's a lot of people in the mosque. We have group. It was like a joining point for all those people. So after the finish of the prayer, we would go out and start the march. And of course, because of that, the police was starting. And the main point, at least in Damascus, I didn't go outside of Damascus because, of course, in other city, in other places in Syria, there was a different way of organizing. But in Damascus, it was kind of like this because there's a lot of military office or police stations surrounding Damascus, basically. Like for the government, Damascus was the main object. We can't lose it. Beside that, we didn't have access directly to social media, but we used to go use, I think, something like VPN to go to OpenWeb because everything was closed for us. Facebook, Twitter, all this. I don't know if you want to mention names, but uh, there was you to open it. It was all blocked, and you had to use VPN so we can access the social media in this case, so we can communicate and see the news in other cities.
Wow. How did you feel that time, Omar?
I don't know how to say it actually. It was really bad for what's happening. Like, yeah, we know that the government or this government, let's say, they were brutal, they were criminals basically, but no one was expecting this much of brutality. No one was expecting that.
I can
Yeah, we knew
imagine.
this is gonna happen. We knew there's gonna be like a lot of backlash and all this fighting with the police, but not to the point like bombing the cities,
Hmm.
like erasing entire cities or entire neighborhood from Damascus until the today. Like you can see that in Damascus even after liberation.
Yeah, of course, you see the remains. Also, I've been to Lebanon and I've been to Palestine. I have seen a lot of areas that were actually very damaged due to different situations and the war times and stuff like that. I haven't been to Syria, unfortunately, but I can imagine how
Now
it
we can
looks
go.
like. Yeah, true. We can finally. And you were young when it happened. I mean, you left the country and you left everything behind. Your family stayed there. How did you feel about that?
For most Syrian, like for us, it wasn't gonna be like a long time. Like for us, between us, like oh no, yeah, I'm gonna go like maybe in a year or two, and I'm gonna come back. Like everything would gonna finish in a year or two. No one was expecting it's gonna be 14 years. So, like for me, I was like taking few things, a lot of my personal things, like my memories. I left it in Syria because in my head I was like, I'm gonna go for a couple of years, maybe 3 years maximum, and then I'm gonna go back.
And it
So
never
it was
happened.
kind of
Yeah.
hard after all. Yeah, it never happened. It's been 14 years now.
Yeah. And you left your family behind. How was that feeling of making the decision to leave and leave everything behind? Can you share something about that?
It was hard, but I had like to choose between two roads. I'm against the government from day one since the revolution started. So after I finished studies in Syria, military service is obligatory. So after you finish study, there's no reason for you not to go to the military service. You had two options, either traveling or running away, let's say, or going with the military. I was against the government. I will never serve with this government. Serving military at this time was meaning killing my brother, killing my friends. The one
Mm.
that was going out like me, they were standing next to me one day. So I chose the other route and I left the country. So It wasn't easy, of course, leaving your family, your friend, your city, your house, but it was the only way to do it.
And you left your siblings. They had no chance to leave, or they didn't want to leave, or?
No, because for me it was kind of urgent because it was my time to go to the military service. I had my two big brothers. They already served in the military service, so before the revolution, so they didn't have the urgency to go. And my younger brother was still studying or underage, so he didn't need to go to leave right away. After that, for economic reason, yes, they started leaving.
Yeah, well, this is really something a lot of our privileged Western world cannot imagine, you know? So it's something really sensitive to thank you for sharing that. And then you left. And is there any specific moment you remember when you realized, shit, it's not going to be 2 or 3 years, it's going to be longer?
After Russia get in the line, because before I think Russia went to help Bashar in 2014. I'm really bad with the dates. I'm so sorry. I think it was 2014 or 2015. The rebels were taking like almost 80% of the country. It was under the rebels government, and they were like almost gonna finish. And then Bashar started asking help from Russia, and of course Russia wanted to help another dictator. So that was like that going down for the rebels, and the government, actually Bashar in this time, gained a lot of land that he already lost. It's like for us it was gaining a little bit hope, then losing hope, gaining a little bit hope, then losing hope. And to be honest, like what's happened now last year, the liberation of Syria, no one was expecting that this gonna happen because most of Syrian was like, no, yeah, it's done. That's gonna be our life forever.
Must have been quite a
But
relief as well.
thankfully, yes, yes, yes. That's the happiest day in all Syrian life, basically.
I can imagine. Wow. Really, I can imagine. So you said when Russia got involved, you realized, oh, I'm not going to go back so soon.
Yeah, yeah. Before Russia get involved, we were like, okay, maybe another year maximum, and it's gonna done. But after Russia get involved, we were like, no, it's not gonna be in really soon. I basically start planning like I'm not gonna be going back to Syria soon, so I better start like trying to get my life a little bit better, the situation, because all my first 3 years in Egypt, I wasn't planning to stay in Egypt. It was like a temporary trip, so I was working like anything I can find, just to make life. But after Russia get involved, it was like, yeah, it's kind of, no, it's not going to be a temporary thing.
What are the nice memories you have about the time in Egypt?
Yes, Egypt was really pretty. Egypt is really pretty to visit. Until now, like I always go to Egypt. My family now live in Egypt, actually, but still, beside that, I was always like going to Egypt, try to live in Egypt. Egyptians are really, really nice people, really friendly. I had really bad memories, of course, bad moments in Egypt with all this, with new moving to a different country where I had like really minimum resource to start with. So it was kind of hard at the beginning, but still, like, of course, there's always the good moment to through the trip.
And if you think about what was the hardest part of starting over when you left and you moved to Egypt, what was the hardest part in that?
There was like it's basically I didn't had a lot of cash with me or a lot of money with me. So yeah, the money problem at the beginning. Like I was there with my cousin. My cousin was in Egypt like a week before me, also same age, also left the country for the same reason for the military service. So money wise was really really tight at the beginning. Like the first month, we were working in like a cloud shopping, and they have a really good experience with not experience. They had the customary to tip the seller in Egypt. So my first month in Egypt, I had zero, pounds, let's say, and I was literally living day by day by the tips that I was getting through the day. I had few days that I have my lunch break during the shift. I had to go out to eat to have my lunch at my lunch break. I had $0, let's say, nothing at all. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go my lunch break. I took a walk around the block and I came back to the shop again because I didn't have any money to eat that day.
Oh, I remember once I was traveling in Cambodia and everything got stolen. I had no more money and no more passport and nothing, and I had to work in a bar to make some money to survive the weekend until I could go back to the embassy to apply for a new passport. I really remember that feeling of living day by day. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
It's an intense time.
it's intense, but now I look it up. It was kind of nice adventure. It was like crazy adventure for me.
What did you learn from that time? What would you say?
I don't know how to say it, but it's like live day by day. Like for me
In
now,
the
like
moment.
you just live the day, live the moment. Yeah.
And what is it what you maybe now reflecting or realizing about yourself? What was the biggest strength you got out of that?
I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, I'm really not that good speaking about emotions.
That's right, we're getting there.
It was hard. Of course, it was like a learning moment, but it show you like how literally like enjoy the moment that you're living, the day you're living in. Today you have food, you have house over your head, you have everything you need basically by reaching out. But also always try to think of other people that doesn't have this option because I didn't of course live like them, like the people now still in Syria until now in some places living in carpets and getting bombed almost every day. I didn't live like them. I didn't reach that moment, of course, because in Egypt was safe. I had my house. I didn't have money to eat, of course, but I had my house. I have like a secure place, let's say, to stay. But of course, always think about those people that have it even worse, like what's happening in Gaza now, of course, like bombing every day, trying to killing people every day.
Yeah, it's really humble, this perspective of life, I understand. And but the beautiful thing I remember in Egypt is you met your girlfriend at that time. Can you remember what was the moment like?
I wasn't planning. Her point of view, of course, I was flirting with her since the beginning. I don't know if I was actually, but yes, in Hurghada, there's like a day trip. I used to do like weekly with my friend instead of going just to the beach. We used to go on those day trip. So I met her on this day trip. We were planning with my friend, like, okay, let's go. We don't have anything. It's a weekend. Let's go. So we met over there at the beginning of the trip. Of course, always there's a guy that's introduced each one like, hi, what's your name? Where you from? And all this. So he started going. There was a couple from Mexico, I believe, and next to them was my girlfriend, let's say. Now, at that moment, I was like, she's from Peru. That's interesting. I never met people that far, like this way. I'm not gonna lie, I liked her, yes. She seemed really nice. But and that's it. And we start like speaking a little bit. Hi, where are you from? How are you? How is the trip in Egypt? I start trying to help her because she doesn't speak the language, of course, in Egypt, and she was traveling alone, which is kind of hard to do in Egypt. Egypt is not an easy country to travel alone. So after the trip, we came back to Hurghada. We stayed in touch through texting, Facebook or texting, and we kept chatting. She, for next day, she was planning to travel to Luxor, I think. And on the way to the bus, waiting for the bus to Luxor, she forgot her passport in the hotel.
Cliche story.
So yeah, she didn't take the bus that day. She came back to the hotel. She picked up her passport and she texted me, "Hi, I'm gonna stay one more day in
Mm.
Hurghada." So the next day we went out together. We had breakfast. I showed her around in Hurghada. I liked her, but we weren't planning on doing anything. Of course, we were like, "Okay, she's a friend, and we're having fun together." We spent that day, and then she went to take her bus to Luxor, and then she went to Cairo. I had to go to Cairo to do some paper with the embassy. So we met in Cairo again. We traveled around for 2 or 3 days in Cairo, and she left to the airport. And for us, like that was the end of it. That's it. But we kept speaking, like, "Hi, how are you? How was your trip?" She had a few stops before coming back to Peru, and we keep chatting all this time. We obviously liked each other, but we were like, no, we're not gonna even work on it because it's really hard. Different religion, different background, different country. So no, we're not gonna do anything about it. But after that, we kept talking like almost every day, almost all the time. So we decided, it seems that's gonna work. So we start like our relationship officially. But all that through long distance.
Yeah, when did you realize, okay, this is not talking every day. This is really like I fall in love with this woman. How do you realize that?
I don't know. How do you feel in love with someone? It's like she was really fun. I don't know how to say it, but
Hmm.
it was like she's the one.
Nice. And then, of course, the Middle East and then Peru is quite far. What was it a decision for you? Okay, I'm gonna risk it, even though it's gonna be work because long distance, also the time difference is a lot of work. How was that process for you?
It was hard because of the long distance things and the different background, of course. But after we just say that Russia get involved in Syria, like my situation in Egypt wasn't that stable, let's say. So I was like, okay, why should I compromise to stay in Egypt if it's not working? Like, okay, we can try to different places. So the fact that she's from Peru wasn't that bad for me. Like there was a lot of refugees from Syria that went to Germany, that there's France, in Europe, in the US, all this country. So I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. Like I can go to Peru. I don't have a problem going to Peru in this case.
But first you
So
went to
the fact that
Turkey.
she's from Peru, yes. My plan was at the beginning staying in Turkey because I had the option to go to Peru, but we weren't like serious boyfriend and girlfriend at this time.
Hmm.
So when I moved to Turkey, that plan was staying in Turkey because my situation in Egypt wasn't that good. But as Syrian coming from Egypt, Egypt for Turkey is a safe country, so they didn't give me any type of residency. I stayed as a tourist. I had a tourist visa for 3 months. Even though I stayed in Turkey for 9 months, I broke my tourist visa. Thankfully, no one noticed that until I left the country. So when I was in Turkey, my girlfriend came to Turkey to visit, like the first time we officially met as a boyfriend girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah, we traveled around also for almost 20 days. I even met her parents in Turkey. They
Mm.
were all like they were having like a family trip. They were mostly in Europe. She went only to Turkey so we can meet. And for 3 or 4 days, we met with her family. We traveled around also. And at that moment, we were like, okay, that's really fun. That's really nice. We can see that it's the relationship getting more serious.
Hmm.
So I was like, and my situation in Turkey wasn't that clear. So I was like, okay, why not Peru? So at the moment she get back to Peru, we start preparing for the visa paper, so I can try to apply to visa to Peru from Turkey.
And how long were you together at that time?
Long distance, it was almost a year and a half, 2 months maybe. Yes. We
Mm.
started like we know each other. We met in May 2000 and oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. In May 2014 or 2015, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's almost 10
Then
years
I
now.
moved. Yes, yes, I think 2015, and beginning of 2016, I moved to Turkey. And at the end of 2016, I moved to Peru.
And what would you say, looking into this 1 year long distance relationship, what was the biggest struggle for you with a long distance relationship?
Like any type of relationship, even friend, family, partner, the long distance, it's not the same. It's not the same feeling like sometimes like by texting, you are meaning it as a fun way, like, hi, I hate you. But the other part, like if he's seeing the text, I hate you. Oh my gosh, what did I
Hmm.
do? This kind of things like we can speak, we can have chat, but there's time difference, there's day and night, there's weekend at this time. So you can't be on the phone 24/7. We're not gonna be able to feel that like the real relationship, like not just with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend, even with family, even with friend, the same issue, I think.
And how is it? I'm so curious about the culture and the intercultural differences. So she's from Latin America, you're from Arabic countries, so you have a Muslim background, and she probably not. So how was that, the intercultural difference? How did you manage that?
It was hard at the beginning. Of course, there was a lot of shock, like, oh my gosh, why did you do that? Like, for example, here in Peru, one of the things that was for me really what's happening, like, or I think it's that's more most Latin American. When you meet someone, even for the first time, you have to give them a kiss on the cheek. For us, for my background, that's a really intimate thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that with anyone. Like, for here, you can literally meet someone on the street, hi, how are you, and you give them a kiss. I even spoke to my wife about this, like, why do you kiss everyone? Until now, I prefer always not to do it because it's still for me, it's kind of like, that's weird. That's not normal.
Was there anything that she found strange or unusual about your behavior, about your culture?
Of course, I think, but nothing really strong or really hard. For her family, I think her family a little bit more religious. So for me, being a Muslim and they are not, they're Catholic. They were like, they're still always like, but really respectfully, of course, they help me a lot with everything. They always make sure that there's no pig or alcohol in my food. They always check for that. Anytime like we get invited to my mother-in-law family, and she cook for us, of course. And every time I kind of converting them to Islam a little bit, not really, but not literally, but they're drinking way less alcohol.
What's
They eat
actually good,
way
huh?
less
Yeah.
pig. Yeah, since I arrived there.
Oh, wow. And how was it for your family to be with a woman from Latin America and maybe also with a Catholic background? Was it okay for them? Oh my God, he's now having a girlfriend from that area and he's even moving there. How was it for them?
I think kind of the same for her family when she decided to marry a Muslim guy. My family was like, he's marrying a Catholic girl. They were like, no, but she's from different background. She doesn't have our culture. She doesn't know. She doesn't even speak the language. How she's gonna speak to us? Like, it's always this family, or let's say motherly shock with all this.
And how did you manage that?
You get to the middle point after all. Yeah, there's things that they can, let's say, not control, but they can have an opinion of.
Mhm.
But there's things that's my life. She's my wife.
Yeah, so that was even before she was your wife. At one point you
Yes.
decided to move to Peru. And then how long did it take you to get married?
We get married almost like the religious or the Islamic marriage was done like really at the beginning. But that paper thing, or let's say I don't know how to
The
say it.
official part,
The
kind of.
legal, the official, yeah, or the legal marriage certificate. That's the one that takes a little bit long because I'm Syrian. I need to provide a lot of paper,
Hmm.
and there's no embassy in here in Peru, so I had to provide everything to Chile, and from Chile bring it here with all this official document, and based on all this in Syria. In Syria, it's really terrible everything about the documentation and all this. So that's what take a lot of more time.
Hmm.
That's why we get married in 2019. But like we were basically married since I arrived here.
Sweet. And you got married in Peru, so it was kind of a Peruvian wedding tradition or anything special about it?
No, no, no. We did like just a small party for friend and family. Like we went to a restaurant. Like we made like a lunch dinner thing. But there was no like a big party. We didn't want that. We travel. We're traveler. Both of us traveler. We were like, we're not gonna pay like $20,000 for a big
Yeah,
party
yeah, yeah.
while we can pay the same amount to travel around.
And what did you do?
We travel a lot.
Together as a honeymoon.
Yes, yes. Actually, after our marriage, we went to the party with our family and we had our lunch. And after that, we went like we'd say bye to everyone, goodbye, hi, have a good day. And after that, we went to do paragliding. I don't know how to say
Paragliding.
it.
Yeah,
Paragliding, yes, both of us. Me and my wife, we went together. We did that, and then we went home. And the
amazing.
next day, we went travel around in Peru.
So I'm curious, How is having an international relationship, but also, of course, an international marriage, especially even interracial with different ethnicities and different cultures and even different religions, how is it shaping or how has it shaped your understanding about relationships?
It has its challenge. Like there's things that for me, like, ah, no, we can't do that. There's things for her, like for example, no, we can't do that. That's just kind of different. That's weird for us. That's weird for you. But after all, it's like any other marriage. You just have to find the middle ground in any other relationship.
Yeah, like how are you managing it?
Compromising, yeah, compromising between each other. Actually, in this case, I don't think that's it's really important or really affect that we are international couple or we're different religion because like it's a marriage, it's a relationship after all.
And do you realize any difference with other women from maybe the Middle East where you've been before in terms of having a partner from Latin America? Is there any difference for you?
No, because I left like the Middle East when I was young. I
Very young.
didn't have like relationship in the Middle East basically, so I had no experience before with the Middle Eastern women.
Okay. And now being in Peru, how is it for you being a Muslim from Syria? Is it a challenging experience? Are people very welcoming and open, or do you feel still very different there?
To be honest, Peruvian are really, really, really respectful about that, and they're actually curious. Like when they say, "Ah, you're Syrian. How you do you like Peru? Do you like?" They're really friendly with the foreigners in general. Until now, like I've been here for I'm Peruvian basically. I have
Hmm.
the nationality, and they are still like, "Ah, you're Syrian. You're from Syria. How was it? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite plate in Peru? Do you like it? Did you travel around?" Like they're really friendly, they're really respectful about their religion. But the hard part that there's a really small Arab and Muslim community here
Hmm.
in Peru. So like in entire Lima and all Lima, there's one mosque, or maybe they're opening the second one, but it's not like a real mosque. It's basically like a house that the people just use to pray. It's not like the normal or like the building, the mosque building with the I don't know how to say it. The thing that they call the for the prayer and
Yeah,
all
the
this, like
minaret.
it's the minaret. Yes, it's only a house basically that people donate so they can so the Muslim community that can use as a mosque.
Hmm.
That's the hard part. That's kind of difficult here because like I'm now in Ramadan and
Mm.
basically everyone around me doesn't even know what is Ramadan, what is happening, like why you're not eating, do you need some water? Like that's my everyday. But beside that, they're really respectfully, of course, yeah.
Do you experience that they are like open what's also happening in Syria in the media? Do people recognizing stuff like that and do they talk about it with you or how would you experience that or say that?
In Peru, not that much, no. Like for them, the Middle East area or the Middle East news, it's like the news for Peru and Middle East. It's almost like unknown
Two
disinformation.
different
Like
worlds.
it's entirely different world. Really few people know the where is Syria on the map or what's happening in Syria or know about the revolution about Syria. Like even here, like when on 8th of December, when the Bashar failed and we had the new government, I went to the street. I tried to look for like the post stand or the newspaper stand. There were no news at all about this. That's a major news everywhere, but here there was nothing.
Have a different life over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And how would you say it about Syria? Like when you tell people back home that you're now in Peru, do they have an understanding about Latin America and Peru? How is it for them?
To be honest, not that much. We know, of course, about Latin America, of course, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, most known. Like after that, Chile, Peru, it's unfortunately not that known about for us. We know about Machu Picchu, of course, but
Hmm.
beside that,
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, of course, now I'm very curious. What is your favorite part in Peru?
oh, wow, everything, everything. It's a really, really pretty country, really nice people, really nice and delicious food. I gained like, I don't know, 40 pounds since I arrived to Peru.
Like a real Latino.
Yes, the only thing that I don't agree with Peru is Lima.
Okay.
Lima is actually the capital, yes, but it's for me it's the ugliest city in Peru.
Mm. But moving
Yeah,
somewhere
for
else
me,
is
I
not an
would
option.
not that much because Peru it's kind of centric country. It's like everything or anything you need to do, it has to be in Lima.
I get it, living in the capital place.
Yeah, like it's like more like everything centered in the capital. Other cities like Cusco, for example, it's one of my favorite
Hmm.
city in Peru. Yes, like for me, I would live in Cusco for sure.
Oh, yeah, I heard so much about it. I haven't been there yet, but
Yeah, you should visit it. Like Cusco, it's a different world.
and
Everything about Cusco is much prettier.
but you have been to Machu Picchu, right?
Ah, yes, of
How
course.
are these
I travel
experiences?
around.
How are these experiences, especially coming again from beautiful Damascus with a completely different culture and historic and also architecture, than seeing the different architecture in Latin America? How is that? How can you describe that?
It's an entirely different experience here. Like for us here, when I went to a city called Arequipa in Peru, it's remind me a lot with Damascus. It has kind of the same because, like, I don't know about Andalus, I think in
Hmm.
Spain,
Hmm.
it was the people that was in charge or the government in Spain at this time was from Damascus. So there's a lot of similarity between Damascus and Spain, like Cordoba, Sevilla, and all this city. It's basically
Interesting, eh?
Damascus 2.0. Yes, it's Damascus. So when the Spanish came to Latin America, they bring a lot of this thing from Spain or basically from Syria to here. So there's a lot of things. Like for example, Arequipa, they called it here the White City because it's all walls were colored in white. When
Hmm.
you walk in the old city of Arequipa, it reminds me a lot of Damascus. Kind of the same narrow street with the building like over each other, all this with the white color. It reminds me a lot of old Damascus.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's from the colonial times, right? That the Spanish people went to Latin
Yes.
America. Of course, I mean, it has a tragic past, of course, through the colonial times.
Yeah, of course. Now, beside that, yes, they have a lot of they had a lot of influence in all this thing in Peru.
And that's very interesting that the world somehow is so connected again, right? There's so many similarities due to colonialism, but still, I find it also very interesting to hear about that. And is there something you don't like about Latin American culture or Latin American lifestyle? Something that really is so different to the Middle East?
Yes. It's kinda a problem for us here for the security reason. I don't know how the situation now in Syria. I haven't been there in for 14 years, but like here, there's a lot of shoplifting or stealing the cell
Mm,
phone. Like Peru, Latin America in general is one of the
more
most
dangerous.
dangerous places, yeah, in the world because of all this crime, all this organized crime, even. So I don't know, but like when I grew up in Syria, I haven't experienced all this. Like when I arrived here to Peru, my girlfriend or my wife and her family, they sit me down. They had to give me like classes how to walk in the city, how to walk in Lima, how to interact with people. Like you can't use your phone in the street in Lima. That's a big no because it's like what's happening now in London. Like a lot of phones get stolen through the day. So that's a normal thing here in Lima.
I know it from Rio.
So
I
they
had the
have to
same
experience, yeah.
experience there or in Mexico somehow. Yeah, I remember that. But isn't it somehow also a bit ironic to say, well, you're coming from Syria with so much history and so many problems, like the past years or the past decades, so many people got attacked and things happened, and then you're going to Latin America saying, "Oh my God, Latin America is so dangerous." How does it feel for you saying that?
No, yeah, but in Syria, this death, unfortunate death happened because of
Hmm.
the, not because of the revolution, because of the government, how they react to the revolution. Before that, let's say before 2011, we didn't experience this type of theft day a day or killing in the middle of the street. Like now, Lima, we're having crisis here with the security, with the organized crime. They're even like starting to or thinking, I don't know, they actually did trying to do in Lima the martial law because we have a really bad security problem here.
True. I mean, in this case, it's more civilized in the Middle East, the behavior,
Yeah,
what the people are
before
doing.
2011, we didn't have this problem. Let's say in Syria and Damascus, where I lived, I wasn't like the Syrian that travel a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't travel a lot in Syria when I was young, but in Damascus, we didn't have that bad situation as security in the city.
And now Syria is open again and a bit more safe. Is your family considering to go back? And are you considering to go back there? Or how do you feel about that?
Yes, finally, yes, everything is getting much, much better. Today, actually, we're waiting for the new government in Syria. It should be announced today.
Mm.
We're still like trying, like for me, for my type of work, for my actual work, we need internet, we need stable internet, we need electricity, we need all this. I'm planning to go to visit in October because I couldn't find the earlier time, but I'm trying to visit in October to see like how it's work because I miss Syria, I miss Damascus, of course, like to see how it's working or how it's the situation in Syria. But yes, my family considering going back to Syria. My brother actually, yes, already in Damascus. He went to visit for a few weeks, and we're getting like the information because it's everything still new. We're kind of people still until now in shock of what happens, how fast it happens. Even for the rebel, it was like 11 days. That's a record basically to take control of the
Mhm.
of a country. So everything happens really fast, but we're still trying now. We're waiting to get like the basic service, let's say, to get a little bit more stable type of security now. It's much, much better now. But still, the economic part, it's really hard in Syria. So we're still trying to find until it get a little bit more stable, let's say.
And do you think also when you talk to your friends, your family, people back home, it's gonna be a bright future for Syria? Do you think it's gonna be stable and you all can go back if you want to? Or how do you see the future? Is
Yes.
there any idea about it?
Yes, actually, I'm really optimistic of what's happening. The new government, all of us, we had our doubts about it, like gonna be an extreme, it's gonna be a lot of bad decision they're taking, but we were surprised with everything, like everything going like the government, it's really moderate, they're respecting religion, they're respecting minority, they're respecting like, is that they're from Syria, they're taking back control of their own country. So they know they want it to be better.
And how do you see the development, as much as you know and as much as you like to talk about it, the development with Lebanon, Israel, and Palestine over there? Do you think that's going to be a stable future? How do you feel about that? Are you talking with your friends or family about that?
Yes, like for the moment now in the south of Syria, like Israel's still trying, like Syria is getting more and more stable every day, but Israel is still trying to go in Syria. They're bombing in Syria. They're attacking Syria in the south of Syria. Like for them, if they really want peace with everyone, they should let the country be stable. The country been in war for 14 years. Let it be stable. Why they're still bombing until today? They're going in not even just by bombing. They're going by land now. Today they actually get 8 people arrested for a few hours. There's no reason to all this. There's no reason to do that from Israel against Syria. And of course, they broke the deal with the Palestinian in Gaza. They're the one that broke the deal. They're always asking for peace, asking for peace. We don't want to fight, but that's
Not true.
any time happening or any problem happening in Syria or in the Middle East area, they are the one that actually started the problem. Like everybody literally was happy for the deal that's happened and the ceasefire in Gaza between Gaza and Israel. A few months happened and then they broke the deal again without any reason, without any mishap. People now saying that Netanyahu did that just to gain power for his election. Like to gain election to stay in the house, he's killing people and he broke a deal that's been worked on for a really long time. That's not mentality for people that want peace. Also from Syria. They broke the deal with in 1970. There was a peace deal between, or a ceasefire deal between Syria and Israel. After the war in 73, I think, they also break this deal. And they are taking there was no military zone in the middle between Syria and Israel. They took control of all this place the same day that Bashar left the country. The same day, 8th of December, and the 9th, they took control of all this no militarized zone, and they are moving forward now. That's not the mentality for someone want peace.
Yeah. Do you?
So, but Syria, we don't want to fight. We don't want more war. We've been in war for fighting for 14 years. We lost a lot of lives. Kids grow up during the fight,
They
during the war.
haven't known
So
anything
we want
else.
to finish that. Yes, they haven't known anything beside like bombing for 14 years.
Do you have?
So
Yeah.
Syrian doesn't want to fight, but we don't want to lose our country also for Israel because they're moving little by little.
Do you have any allyship with Lebanon and Jordan and Palestine somehow in that area? Like, do you feel like the countries are like, somehow connected, or do you have friends from these areas as well? Like, do you feel safe as a bit of the Middle Eastern Arabic world over there?
No, because like if they're gonna be able to help someone, they would help Palestine, or they would help Gaza. Like Gaza is surrounded not by just only by Israel. From the other side, there's Egypt, and Egypt is not doing anything for this to help Gaza, and from their side at least.
It's a complex situation, but your family still.
It's a really
Yeah.
complex, yeah.
But your family is still going to back, like moving back? Are they planning to move back?
They also waiting like to see how
if
it's
it's
gonna
stable.
happen. The new government gonna be announced today. That's gonna be like our main point in Syria because they are the main government. Before that, there was like a temporary one just to work everything until we get the official government that's gonna be announced today. So since today, everything should be working forward in Syria, let's say.
And can you imagine, because you said, Lima has a lot of violence, can you imagine to move with your wife to Syria?
Yes, why not? But of course, we need to consider the life because my wife is a lawyer and she doesn't speak Arabic. Of course, she's studying for a long time, but still she doesn't speak Arabic. Yes, we would like to at least live over there for a year to try to find like, are we gonna be comfortable? Of course, even for me, like I've been out of the country for 14 years. Like I've forgot like how is it now. So like now in October, we're gonna try to visit to see like for 20 days, maybe, or 2 weeks. How is everything? And based on that, we're gonna decide to go at least for a year or two, maybe, to see like if everything good for us, the situation, the work, the service situation, everything good. We might move back there because we're not really happy about Lima.
Yeah, I wanted to say, because you have been traveling a lot, is there any other country you can imagine to live in?
Yeah, we're not really come on. No, we're from Peru, we're from Lima, we should live in Lima. No, we're not like that. Both of us, even my wife, even though that she was born and raised in Lima, but she's a lawyer. For lawyers, it's kind of hard to move to a different country or work in different country.
And what is the place you've seen that you really liked? What is the place where you can
Like
imagine yourself?
Spain, it's same language, kind of same culture. It's kind of mixed between both of us. Spain has like the perfect mix between Latin America and Syria.
To Granada, Cordoba, Andalusia, a nice area
Yes,
with a lot of Arabic influence. That's a good combination. Yeah,
of
maybe.
course. Yeah.
And you speak
Like
Spanish,
for
right?
instance,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, at the beginning I spoke like really slow or really little Spanish, but now I think my Spanish is kind of better than my English. I'm not really
Almost
sure.
fluent.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, that's like we were planning before like the liberation of Syria, we were planning maybe Spain, but still for the problem with the work, we're not like yes, no, we're not really sure.
Now, even though you've been away from Syria for 14 years and then you lived in Egypt, you lived in Turkey, now you've been home in Lima. What is home to you? Can you explain that? How does home feel, or what is it for you?
No, you can't. Because like for 3.5 years in Egypt was my home. Like I go anywhere like I'm going home, I go home. I go in Egypt. I was living in Egypt. I had a friend in Egypt. I had everything in my city in Hurghada. I lived in Hurghada in Egypt. Basically, Hurghada was my home. And whenever I travel, I have my friend now in Germany. We want to go to Hurghada to visit Hurghada because it used to be our home. So in Turkey, I didn't stay that much, so I didn't consider it that much. But like for me, Egypt, Syria, and Peru, for me, all this are home. Home is where you're comfortable.
Home is where your heart is safe. Or home is where your mother cooks for you. That's also sometimes what people say.
Yes, maybe.
It's, I
But yeah,
think.
for me, like home, it's where you're comfortable, where you're happy.
And are you comfortable with your job situation right now? You're working in a bit of communication and translation. Does that feel like home to you for the area you're working at the moment?
Yes, actually, I started with this company because when I arrived to Peru, I didn't speak almost any Spanish, and it's like work based on English. So for me, it was like my only option. But through the years, I start moving up. I'm now a supervisor for the company.
Great.
So that helps a lot. I now use more Spanish. I don't think I'm able to translate to Spanish because like when you speak to someone from different country, they use a different type of words for the same
Hmm.
thing, like the street or the country dialect. I'm still kind of sometimes lose when they start speaking like in their dialect. I don't think I'm gonna be able to translate. I'm not that fluent yet.
Omar, what I'm really curious about is so you moved completely from the one side to the other side of the world, and now you got married there, you're living a life there, you speak the language, and you're working there. What is it what you learned about yourself through that journey?
You know, everything is possible, basically. Everything is possible. Like for me, I always loved traveling, yes, but I was never ever in my life was expecting for me to live in Peru and to speak Spanish fluently and I have my Peruvian wife. But even when we started the relationship, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work. It's complicated. It's Peru with everything different, but I was like, let's try. Why not?
And would you say you have a certain skill or a certain character that made it also possible? I mean, not for everyone, everything is possible, of course. So, what is it that you bring with you? Would you say? What is it that you have as a strength or as a skill?
You have to be open-minded, of course. You have to be open-minded. You can't expect like I see a lot of people that move to a different country. They want to live in their own community with their own people. Like for example, let's say Syrian. No, I can't work with people from Peru. I need to have my Syrian friend. I have to eat my Syrian food. I have to meet my Syrian. No, you have to be open-minded. You're a different place. You have to live with the people around you. Those are your real neighbors. Those are your community now. So you have to have like a little bit open-minded about this.
I really understand that as well as being German and about the European culture. We also need open mindedness in our society. Would you say it was helpful that the Latin American people, at least what I have experienced, that the Latin American people are also very welcoming and very family oriented and very open minded? Would you say that was helpful for you to integrate?
Yes, of course. Of course, that's a really important point for Latin America or for Peruvian in general. Because I have a friend in Europe, I have friends in the Middle East, I have friends all this. They went as a refugee, and unfortunately, I hear a lot of stories like about racism, about they treat them bad, about you're Arab, you're something like that, blah blah blah. For me, I was never. I tried to even think about it. I never had something like that here.
Hmm. You never experienced racism in Peru and something like that?
No, no, no. They actually love when they see you as a tourist. Like, you're not Peruvian. They start to help you. Even at the beginning, I was really bad. I was making a lot of mistakes in my
Hmm.
Spanish,
Hmm.
but
Of
they didn't correct you. Like, no, you have to say that. No, they understand. They try to help you speak the language.
course.
They are really, they're really acceptable. They're really respectful.
I remember that from my time in Latin America too. Yeah, they're very open and they're very eager to connect
Yeah,
and to know you, right? Yeah, at least what I experienced.
yeah. They just want to make friends.
And do they
I
immediately?
always
Yeah.
I always complain to my wife about this. Okay, you just met this person like She's her best friend basically. After 5 minutes of talking, we just met them. Calm down.
That's maybe also something different for you, especially.
Yeah, for us, it's not like that. I need to know you before I give you my deepest secret. For my wife, after 5 minutes of talking to you, you have our Wi-Fi password, basically.
Do they immediately realize that you're not from there? Do they really recognize your face that you are from somewhere else?
Not my face that much.
Your accent. Well, that's okay. But I mean, it's interesting that you're coming from a very different culture and a different continent, even that they don't even recognize it immediately in your face or in your visual
Sometimes,
appearance,
yes,
right?
like they're like, he doesn't look Peruvian, but he might be like, that he's not red. Like, of course, I'm not the white blonde guy, so I'm not that different from Peruvian.
Yeah, true. True. Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Omar. And now you said, well, your wife is very open and you don't have that in your culture so much. Is there anything, even though we talk about it now and you know me a bit, is there anything you would share, something that you realized is still very different for you, where you struggle a bit with the Latin American culture? Besides the kiss on the cheek, is there something you realized, gosh, I will always
Mm,
be Arabic, I will always be from the Middle East?
no, not really. I think I don't know if this like enter in this category, but they party a lot.
They party a lot.
They party a lot. Like, I don't know if that's me. I'm already old or something. That's from the Arab world, but I can't party that much with them.
So what are you gonna do instead? Or what do
No,
you
of
normally
course
do?
I have to go. I
You have
have
to
to
go.
go, but like I'm the one that's sitting down on the chair. Can we go now, please? I want to go to my bed.
So for you, it's just late, or you don't like dancing, or you don't like socializing so much? What is it?
I think dancing, a lot of noise, like all this. I don't know actually if that's me or that's my background, or that's why I don't know if that's gonna go with the category you're asking or no.
Yeah, well, I was just curious if there's anything that you're realizing. Well, okay, cool. Thank you. And now, of course, I would like to know all the wisdom you have through all the different experiences and stations and chapters in your life. Is there anything you would share with other people who are wanting to leave their country or wanting to start a new life? What would you give them as a recommendation?
It's not gonna be easy. If someone told you like, yes, moving to a different country is easy, just do it. No, they're not telling you the truth. It's not gonna be easy, but when you pass this hard or this difficult part or difficult time, it's gonna be really fun. You're gonna enjoy it, of course. And I always, 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 always recommend it. Please travel abroad.
Mm.
And not just travel to, yes, I'm going to my hotel to tourism for 2 weeks and go back. That doesn't count.
Hmm.
No, you need to live outside your country. You need to live outside your community so you can understand everything.
What is it?
Like that's gonna open your mind really, really a lot.
What is it? What you would say has that changed you the most, or what was the biggest impact you got from all these experiences around the world?
A lot, a lot. Like for me, when I was young, I had like, let's say, ideas about foreigners, about all this, because we can only know them through our movies. Now we have social media. It's much easier to
Hmm.
connect with other
Hmm.
people from different country, from different background. But for me, we didn't have this option yet. So by traveling, like you meet a lot of new people. Like we met together. It's a really weird. I was never be thinking of for a moment that I'm gonna be having a talk with a German girl that I met for
Yeah,
2 days.
true.
That's gonna open your mind for a lot of options of a lot of things, especially for young people after university. Please go travel for a year. You're gonna enjoy it.
I mean, a lot of people are not that privileged, of course. They don't have the finances, the resources, or anything. What would you recommend or advise them?
The good thing about young people, like for me, when I traveled, I had like $300 in my backpack. That's it. We were having a really bad economic situation in my house, so I traveled literally with that $300. When you're young, it's much easier than you're old. When you're young, yes, you can sleep on a couch with a friend or with someone that you just met,
In a
and
tent or
you can spend a
whatsoever.
few days, yeah, in a tent or whatever. That's okay. That's why, like, try to travel after you finish university, when you're still young, when you still do it. That's the idea. You don't need to plan 100% because nothing gonna be as you
Yeah,
planned.
it's all
Even
gonna
if you have,
turn, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing gonna be as you planned. Nothing. It's not only about economic situation. Sometimes people with a lot of money struggle much more than people that doesn't have a lot of money. So it's not
Very
always
true.
about the money. You don't need to go to find, like, to move to this country, but go and live in this country for 6 months or a year. Maybe try to work in there, in a restaurant, in a cafe, or something like this. Meet new people from a different background, from different ethnicity, from different everything. That's going to open your mind, and that's going to make it much, much, much safer and peaceful world in general.
If you would go back now to your younger self, to the Omar before the revolution, before you left Damascus, what kind of advice would you give yourself that time?
That's an important thing. We have two options here. We can go with the go invest in Facebook and Bitcoin so you can get rich.
Yeah, maybe that's a good one. I think a lot of people would say that nowadays. Shit, I should have bought Bitcoin way earlier.
Yes, when it was like $10 a piece,
Mhm,
basically.
mhm.
But still less. Like, enjoy your life. Because for me, as I said, for me in Syria, I basically had everything planned. I'm gonna study this thing, then I'm gonna finish, and I'm gonna work in this company, and nothing of this happened. Literally none.
But is there,
So I
yeah,
think I'm gonna have more fun. Yeah, I'm gonna
more,
have more fun.
more fun. And is there anything still that you have learned now within all these years that would have been useful to know when you were younger? Or like if you tap yourself, little Omar, what would you give him as an advice?
That's really deep for me. I don't know, connect with your friend because I lost a lot of my friends during the war. A lot of people that I was like, no, we can meet tomorrow, we can have tomorrow, we can meet. But unfortunately, they passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that, and I understand that that moment in life is only available once sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah. So probably like this. I would have more fun with my friends.
So that's a beautiful learning. Really appreciate the people in your life and spend time with the loved ones you have in your life to really enjoy the moments you have together before time is too late. Yeah, thanks. But fortunately, your parents and your family, they're still all there and waiting for you
Yes.
to come. Huh?
Well, yeah, I'm traveling in 3 days, I think.
You're going there to visit them as well? In
Yes.
3 days. Oh, nice. And how long are you going to stay?
2 weeks only. It's like kind of fast trip.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Omar. It was really inspiring to hear your perspective and different struggles and journeys and challenges you had on the different continents. Imagine you would have the chance now to produce a advertisement or a big video spot for social media, all the big televisions to share your message around the world. What would it be?
For everyone, please help Syrians get back on their feet. Now is the moment that they or we really need help with that.
In what
There's a
way?
lot. Yes, we finished with the dictator and all this, but until now there's a lot of sensation from the US. The European sensation is kind of lifting now, but there's a lot of poverty in Syria now. So they need help ASAP.
In what kind of way? What would be the best help?
Economic, try to rebuild Syria because there's literally entire cities was on the ground now. There's a lot of homelessness. There's a lot of people that until today, like it's been almost more than 3 months, and people in the north of Syria still living in carpets. There's a lot of orphanage in Syria. A lot of kids that they lost their parents. Uh, One of them or even both of them, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of economic challenge now happening in Syria. So
Thanks for
now is the moment to help Syrians.
yes, for speaking up about that. And your other friends who left Syria, are they considering to go back? Are they excited about going back to Syria?
Yes, of course. Actually, I spoke to my friend 2 days ago. He's in Germany. He's going to Syria also in 3 days. He didn't meet his family for 13 years
Wow.
since he left Syria.
I get
Yeah,
goosebumps
so
from
that's
this.
gonna be a really important moment. Unfortunately, his father passed away last year.
Mm.
He couldn't say goodbye to him until now. He didn't visit his grave, so he's gonna be doing that, of course. His mom and his sister is still in Syria. He's gonna visit them after 13 years away.
Wow. Wow. Really, what
I
an
don't
intense
know
story.
if there's someone that can move back. I have a friend that used to live in Lebanon and
Mhm.
he already in Syria now. He moved back as always, for always. I don't know about other people, but yes, people are considering going back to Syria.
What a strong message. I really hope the best for
It's
that
after all,
area.
it's the country. Yes, it's his house. It's his home.
It's your home too, huh? Is it
Yes.
still home, even after 14 years?
I don't know yet. That's why I want to visit it in October.
Figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, because I even read a lot of people that are in Syria. I have someone that I follow. It's been almost 100 days since the liberation. He visited his city or his village 2 times only. For us, a lot of these places linked for us with death or with discomfort. So it's not. I don't want to go. Actually, I feel sad when I go for a lot of Syrians until now. So hopefully they will get over this and they will move back to their country, their villages.
I understand.
It's not always like home for everyone.
Of course. Yeah. Wow. Wow. What a big new chapter. December is, even though it's some months old now, but I mean, it's still a very big new beginning for Syria, for the whole region, for you, for your family.
Yes.
One more question. What do you see for yourself in the future? Maybe there are some certain goals or a bucket list. What is it? What you want to do or experience in the future? Do you have any clear ideas or visions about that already?
Not that much. We want to travel a lot with my wife.
Seeing the
We want to
world.
travel, seeing the world. Yes, we are travelers. Unfortunately, now we don't travel that much because of work and all this. But like we're always trying to find a place or time to go at least for a week or for even a weekend. That's enough. We want to travel more. One of
Beautiful.
my bucket list actually is try to swim in every sea or ocean in the world.
Wow. And how many to go?
I've been at Pacific, Atlantic, Mediterranean, Red Sea, Black Sea, and the one next to Italy. I don't know what it's called. It's all Mediterranean, but the one, yeah, no, but it has a name. I don't know what's the name, but yeah, let's call it Mediterranean.
And have you been in the north of Germany? There we have the Baltic Sea, and then we have the North Sea that's actually connecting
I want to
also
do
the whole
that
area.
when I go to Finland. I'm planning to go to Finland maybe next year. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I want to do that.
Great. What a nice bucket list to swim in every ocean or every sea.
Yes.
Trying the water temperature and the water condition everywhere.
Yes, everywhere. Even you can't swim always, but at least try it.
That's a beautiful bucket list. And the traveling, I definitely
Yeah.
share that with you. The curiosity and openness for other cultures and countries and to experience and see a lot and understand a lot. I think that's also a very big thing we have in common.
Yes. Yes,
Well,
that's
thank you so much, Omar. Before we ending
Thank
this,
you.
I would really like to know, how are you feeling now?
Good. I'm really happy. Look, if you ask any Syrian now, we're always happy. We're always happy. Yes, because until now, when I look back, there's no better moment than what's happening in the 8th of December.
10.
That was like the happiest day for all Syrians, basically.
And what are you taking away from our conversation today?
I need to work on what it's called. I don't know how to speak about emotion, so I need to learn to speak about this.
Well, I think that's a very beautiful realization. I mean, of course, it is my job to do that, but I think you did very well. You don't have to judge yourself.
No,
You don't feel so
I
comfortable about
still
it.
need to work. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Or I'm like, I don't know how to express it.
Yeah, maybe it's also the English. Maybe Spanish is even easier now. But thanks for your openness. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for your time and your ideas and for sharing so much about your life.
Thank you for your time also for all this.